Tonight, a march replaces a pride parade in Auckland City. Kia ora everyone, I'm Andrew Whiteside. Well, as you no doubt know, there has been a huge battle going on in Auckland's queer communities over the past few months, which resulted in the cancellation of this year's Pride Parade. In its place, this past weekend, Auckland Pride held a smaller event called Our March. Participants in the march gathered near the Queen Victoria statue in Albert Park. It was a diverse crowd in terms of age, gender identity and ethnic background. The march followed the annual university graduation route, which took it down Princess Street, Bowen Avenue, Victoria Street and then on to Queen Street. The march would then enter Myers Park for a concert. This event was officially a rolling march, which meant there were no road closures and therefore it had to halt at every intersection until police had cleared their path of traffic. Now there have been conflicting figures for the march. A news outlet said 3,000 participants, the Auckland Pride chair claimed 2,000. But it is difficult to actually determine numbers in this kind of event. In many ways, it doesn't really matter. The participants and the organisers were happy with the turnout.
So I want to acknowledge you all for your solidarity and for supporting trans people, for supporting non-binary people and gender diverse people. This means a lot to our community to have visibility, to have voice and to celebrate with all of you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I don't know what to say, but thank you so much for coming, and to everyone that said we were cancelled, boom.
I've been involved in Pride probably since the beginning, and just to see the participation of community doubled from any Pride event today is just, for me, a fantastic thing. I'm so overwhelmed by it.
So the board feels justified by their actions and believe the community is fully behind them. Indeed, you have just heard board member Felicia Brown-Acton say it was the biggest community turnout for Auckland Pride in history, except it wasn't. To show you what I mean, let's take a look at the 2018 Pride Parade. Tens of thousands of people turned up to watch that parade. Thousands of people actually participated in it. Now take a look at the Big Gay Out. This annual event, now in its 20th year, usually attracts around 6,000 people. Those numbers show that the old parade and the Big Gay Out were supported by much bigger numbers than the Our March. Why does that matter? Because it shows that a large percentage of the community chose not to support or participate in the Our March. And it indicates there is still a huge rift in the community. So how can this rift be healed? I put that question to board chair Sissy Rock.
We have been committed to having hui, which is a meeting, and we will be having another one after this to debrief and take forward the things that have really worked for people. We invite people to come and help shape what 2020 looks like.
Are hui enough? Are there other ways that you can sort of engage with people in the community that are not just about public meetings?
Sure, there's at least 8 ways that we could engage.
And what are those?
Well, you know, I'm imagining we could be doing surveys, we could be having more Facebook Live, we could be having hui, we could have written submissions, we can go and meet and present with community groups. A lot of those things that we've been doing anyway. So,
what about approaching community organisations and stakeholders to have one-on-ones with them? Is that something that's going to be part of the process?
That's what I meant when I said we could meet with community groups. Yeah, I mean, that's already started, to be honest with you. There's already people we've reached out to and we're having pretty constructive conversations with.
Returning to the march itself, what kind of event actually was it? Well, I think it was pretty cool. It was obvious that there are people in our community that feel left out and who want an alternative to the traditional Pride Parade. Here are some of their views.
This is the first Pride Parade I've ever been to, right? Or Pride event that I've actually felt like I'm not alienated from. And this is Kairos.
Hi.
That I'm not alienated from and I feel I can actually be a part of. All the other ones that have been before this, I've either felt alienated or like there were organisations here that had none of my interests at heart, and yeah, just I feel like I actually feel more belonging here.
I'm here because I'm queer and because I love the Pride March, and I just like that now it's queer people marching in the march rather than just watching it, and I think it's really beautiful.
What did you think of the previous Pride parades that we've had? What were your thoughts around that?
They're big and exciting, but it feels more like a community now than an event.
Anyone who wants to be here that identifies as anything queer, they can be here and they can walk in the parade and they can celebrate with their peers, and it's just such a loving environment.
It's one thing when you're kind of behind the barrier watching all the floats and all the corporations go by, but it's another thing when you can all be like walking together down Queen Street with everyone looking at you, like kind of being a part of it instead of like looking in on the inside or from the outside.
So you didn't necessarily feel that you could put a float in yourself? Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah. No, not really. Yeah.
The amount of people that turned out to walk, like we far outnumbered the people watching, and I think that's the real difference between this year and previous years, is that the parade was something that everyone turned up to be in rather than a spectacle that was funded by the tourism board and business associations because they wanted to profit off our celebration. Instead, this is just us. This is just us celebrating. This is just us being proud. This isn't for anyone but us.
But isn't implicit in a march that there ought to be people watching? Isn't it about gathering an audience?
And there were people watching, but it wasn't an audience that was separated from us by barriers. It was people who, like I could run up and take selfies with, and people who I introduced myself to. There was less of a divide between us and them. There was less division.
The thing that I am left with after this weekend is that most people believe in the concept of pride, and that almost everyone I have talked to in the rainbow communities want to show our diversity on the streets of Auckland. And they want to do it because they believe in visibility, empowerment, diversity and solidarity. Having filmed the Pride Parade and the Hour March, I think it is entirely possible that both of these events could be part of future festivals in Auckland. To do that, though, requires some flexibility in our communities and a willingness to talk to one another without acrimony. Now, a quick thing before I close. I have started a Patreon page to support my journalism. If you believe in what I do, please visit patreon.com/Andrew Whiteside. And I am Andrew Whiteside. Thanks for watching.